Shabbat Shalom, family. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden. I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And we are the people who believe, based upon scriptures, that the laws, statutes, and commandments that are found in the first 5 books of scriptures are what we all should be keeping every single day for all of our lives. In fact, it is something that our Creator has told us that we need to keep for all generations. And when he says you need to keep it for all generations, there is absolutely no expiration date. It doesn't end up like a carton of milk that has an expiration date on it. He said, if you want to be my people, I will be your Creator, and you need to walk how I asked you to walk. And the way that we are requested to walk is not a burdensome path. It is not a walk that is hard to walk. In fact, it will actually be an easier walk than living against our Creator's ways and wishes. And so we are these people, and we thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with us on this day. Jade, start us up if you would, please.
Yes.
Actually, Kate, open us in prayer first.
Father, thank you once again for your Shabbat, for your day of rest, the day you call out for us to follow, for us to be your people. We thank you for your appointed times. We thank you for your upcoming Shavuot, and we ask that everything we do is under your will, that is blessed, that is under your Torah, that is under your desires, how you want us to celebrate these days. We ask that everything we do is blessed by you, is sanctified by you, that is through your will. Thank you for your Son, thank you for your Torah, thank you for your prophets, and we ask that today we learn what you have set on our hearts for us to find today. We ask that your Torah is blessed, that everybody gets rest, they get recharged for the upcoming trials and tribulations of the week, and we thank you for watching out for this united family, for keeping us here, for bringing it all back together as a united family. We thank you for everything that you've done for us, everything that you have blessed us with, and we ask that this Shabbat is blessed in His name. Amen.
All right. So, Jade, will you set us off with Deuteronomy 6?
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall impress them upon your children. You shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Okay, so these are what scriptures say. We are told that we need to love our Creator. It's with everything, right? And if we're talking this particular verse for those who have never read this particular verse, when it says, "Hear, O Yisrael," that's actually speaking to you. So we all have an opportunity to be Yisrael. There's no place in scriptures that we've ever been told of a religion. We've never been told of a once saved, always saved way. We've never been told in scriptures that we should be worshiping on a Sunday. What we've been told in scriptures is this, that we need to love our Creator with all our heart, with all our being, and with all our might. And we're supposed to talk to our kids about this. We're supposed to talk to our family. This is supposed to be such an important topic that it's not only a Shabbat time when we're sitting here and we're doing this, but it is a time for all times of the time. When you get up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, this should be a feature. It should be a way of life inside of our house, that these laws, statutes, and commandments are part of our life. And if they are not part of your life as of yet, I would strongly encourage you guys, as we go through these next part, which is the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator, that you guys look to these and you guys find some value out of these, because I find a tremendous amount of value through all of these laws, statutes, and commandments. And so before we get into the laws, statutes, and commandments, Ms. Nicole, will you please greet our brothers and sisters?
Yep, we have Days Rainey, Irma, and Jody. We have Jeremy and Callan, Sylvia, Bonecat 1, Candy, Ruby, Jeannie, not of this world, Katrina, Elizabeth and Andy are here, Rosie Chica, Sister Barb, The Grand, Mama CA, and I think I got everybody.
Wow. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. And for everybody who joins in the future, who the majority of the views do come in the future, we greet you. We greet you in the name of Yahuwah. And we thank you guys for being part of this little reading. Now, what we're going to be looking at here is we're going to be looking at Torah commands. And these are very, very important things. And before we get into this real quick, I had an interesting conversation. We went over to some people's houses today or last week, and we were talking to them. The thing down where we live in a third world country, and so we have a tremendous amount of people that come from all other countries, and they come here, and the very first thing they discover is they don't have access to all of their TV shows, because if you're not in North America, then they don't want you watching North American shows unless they think you are from North America. So part of our job, unfortunately, is that we have to go help the people that are fresh down in these countries, because it seems like people are lost without their TVs. When they don't have their television programming and they're not broadcasting evil into their minds, they don't know what to do. And so as we were over there fixing up these people's, it was what you call a VPN. We're fixing up their VPN for them so they're able to watch their nasty shows on TV. The lady of the house sat with me, and she was sitting there, and she asked me, she's like, what television shows do you watch? What do you like the best? And I said, we don't watch TV. And she was shocked. She basically looked completely stunned, looked frozen up, looked at me, spent a couple seconds looking at me, gazing, and then she asked me, what do you do if you don't watch TV? And I said, well, we have 9 pit bulls, and so we pet our dogs, we love our dogs, we hang out with our family, we do, everything other than that. And she was blown away that people of the world don't watch television programming. And I guess she didn't realize that there were a certain amount of people out there that haven't done this. And so right before Shabbat, we were trying to figure out exactly how long it's been since we watched television. And I think it's roughly, the year 2012 was roughly where we woke up. And it was during 2012 and 2013 that we stopped eating out. We stopped all of the satanic stuff that we were into. And everything, including life, changed. And when you go from sitting in front of that one-eyed sleep snatcher of where you're watching the most evil stuff across the world to absolutely doing nothing. And for those who still watch television programming and don't know what you would ever do without it, let me tell you that you can absolutely do this. And when you kill that television programming, number one, you stop the satanic indoctrination of your kids. It doesn't matter if you're watching what you think is like Nickelodeon or Disney. They're all satanic, they're all corrupted, they're all disgusting, they're all disturbing, and you should not be allowing your children to have a babysitter that comes from the hands of Satan himself. And so when we, and Miss Nicole and I, we were watching all these shows every single night. We were watching all this terrible HBO stuff. I mean, we were as heathen, pagan as you could possibly be. And when we stopped it was different, right? We didn't know what to do either. And it took us a little while to come out of the fact that essentially we were losing our life and our minds and our abilities to even think by watching TV. And so for those of you out there who still watch TV, I would really like to encourage all of you guys that it is a addiction that can be stopped. It is a dangerous addiction that will hurt your heart, mind, and soul. It will take you away from being Kodesh and holy to our Creator. It will implant nudity in your mind, evil jokes, homosexuality, witchcraft. It doesn't matter what evil is out there. It's absolutely available on the TV programming. And if you're subjecting your family to anything on that TV, it's dangerous, guys. And when you want to talk about the science of how bad a TV is, the TV, the actual frequencies of the TV, when you sit there and you start watching TV, your mind gets in sync. Your brain, you become a zombie, essentially. Whatever you're sitting there looking at, you just imagine what looking at 4 or 5 people on a couch looks like as they're watching TV being programmed, right? And you laugh at some stuff, you cry at some stuff, but at the end of the day, it's 100% satanic. I've never found anything on the TV that you wouldn't call completely satanic. And so as we are trying to become the people of Yah, as we are trying to become those who are walking a different way, who look different, who speak different, who taste different, who totally are not of the world, if we are into television programming of anything whatsoever, I don't believe it's what our Creator would want us to do. And so I wanted to throw that out there because for those anybody who's watched TV, it's probably daunting to actually stop that. It's probably even more daunting to have to babysit your own children and to teach them and help them learn the ways of Yah. And again, guys, I'm sorry, Jade, will you please pet the dog that's going off over there? Yeah, we have 9 pit bulls, and sometimes they're a little distracting, but this is what it is. So, guys, let's continue into the Torah commands, and this is what, do we have anything else? Comments? Okay, here we are. Guys, these are the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. These are what we are told for all generations to keep. This is what we're told to embed into our family. This is what we're told to live with. And so these are the greatest freedom announcing commandments you could ever have if you are in covenant with our Creator. Number 1, be fruitful.
Number 2, multiply.
Replenish the earth.
So do it. Have been over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
The herb bearing in every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Master sin.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk
I'm not
before
for-
me and be perfect.
I think we missed one. Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
So
Blind.
Jaden did that. He skipped master
Okay, so Jay, let's keep this in order, please. Yeah. Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's laws, covenant, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread.
There's one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew.
Okay, and again, I touch on this, and I will touch on this stuff, but guys, it doesn't matter what religion you come out of. It doesn't matter what indoctrination you have been come out of. If you will believe that the TV and some people believe that the TV is the laws for life, right? Those aren't the laws for life. We have one set of guidelines. We have one set of commandments, and they are very, very good. And it doesn't matter where you come from. If you want to serve Elohim Most High, if you want to serve the Creator of the universe, there's one set of laws for us, and these are the laws that we're reading over right now. Okay, sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Sabbath.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors.
Do not make an altar from rock that tools touch.
Do not go up the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with a beast.
No sacrifice to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false reports.
Do not follow a multitude of evil.
Do not judge righteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not kill your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outside of the land.
Do not use this anointing oil on a normal person, or do not use this perfume on a normal person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement. Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for a wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers for the day's wages they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself with the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, and the Omer count.
Keep
That's
the,
it. That's not-
Yeah. Hold on, I'm dealing with dogs.
keep the feast of trumpets. Yom Torah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shimni Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yobel, the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay you have trespassed against.
The law of being a Nazir.
Or easy on the four corners of your garment.
Sorry guys, I'm dealing with dogs here. 1 second, continue on.
Laws of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
The law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah. Stop.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Okay, 1 second guys, we're dealing with dogs in a bad fashion here. 1 second.
Just out. Keep going.
Guys, hold on. Sorry, guys. We are having some issues. That's the wrong spot. All right, sorry, guys.
Where are we at?
We are dealing with issues. Okay.
We are on.
Thank the Lord, keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Yeah, 107.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hand and the friendliness between your eyes.
Write the Torah, laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
Laws at the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do
Do
not
not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the Nabai, hearken unto the Nabai, the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
The prophet test of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
First child is to get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost, and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest, the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that will be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing for and sit, if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress the hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sins.
Do not go back to the forgotten sheep in the field, leave for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of the 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, so there we go, everybody. These are these laws, statutes, and commandments that most of the world has thrown away. They do not care about them. And these are these laws, statutes, and commands that we love, that we cherish, that we hope that we can convince others to love and cherish because they will keep you alive and they are a guidepost to life. Okay, all right. So, guys, here we are. Let's get into our reading and let us talk a little bit. Jade, Exodus 39, can you take us back where we are at? Give us a good little recap here of where we are to this point right here.
So Moses freed the children of Israel out of the oppression of Egypt. They moved out of the land. They crossed the Red Sea. They talked to Yahuwah, got commands. They got to wars. They got more commands. They're on the mountain now learning how blueprints and how Yahuwah wants to build his temple and his objects that he wants in the temple. And Yahuwah gave wisdom to certain people to build these, and they became craftsmen and learned how to build the Ark of the Covenant, the temple, the curtains, everything that Yahuwah has anointed them to do. And he also gave people some a spirit to be giving and give certain things to them, so they had materials to build this. And so they are in the middle of building the temple and the Ark.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have anything? You got anything? Kate? Anything? Okay. All right. So let's continue on. Did you have something?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Shavuot, right? Well, that's not. If you are on the Zadiki calendar, then tomorrow is a Shavuot for you. If you are on any of the other Kabbalion calendars, then it could be next month. It could be last month. It could be anything of the sort. So, for those of you who are keeping Shavuot, happy Shavuot for tomorrow. And we hope that you guys have a blessed day. It is a high Shabbat day. It's a feast of first fruits here that we're looking at. And so if you guys have any questions on it, let us know. But I know that everybody seems to be on their own little calendar as well. So happy Shavuot if you're keeping the calendar. Okay, here we go. Exodus 39. And of the blue and purple and scarlet, they made woven garments to do service in the Kodesh place. And they made the Kodesh garments that were for Aaron, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And he made the shoulder garment of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet, and of fine woven linen. And we've talked about this before, and I want to point this out, that we have Yah Scriptures. And Yah Scriptures is the greatest English translation you'll ever find anywhere. And it's not available to purchase on Shabbat, and it's also not available to purchase on High Shabbat or any days that weren't commanded not to do it. But it is available out there. And the cool thing about the bookmarks that are in this book is that they are gold, blue, and red. It's a reddish thing, and so they are matching up with the colors of Yah. And today was the very first day in over 5 years that I've actually been able to pull open a scriptures and read it without my glasses, without getting a headache because I can't see a dang thing. And so I was able to go through Genesis. I made it through Genesis 5. And I was so psyched that I could actually have a scriptures that I can read that is of what we're looking for. And so I just want to point that out. Let's continue on here. Okay, so 3. And they beat out sheets of gold and cut it into threads to work it with the blue and purple and scarlet and the fine linen, the work of a skilled workman. They made shoulder pieces for it to join it. It was joined at its 2 edges. And the embroidered band of his shoulder garment that was on it was of the same work of gold and blue and purple and scarlet and a fine woven linen, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And they made the shoham stones, placed in plated work of gold, engraved as signets are engraved, according to the names of the sons of Yisrael. And he put them on the shoulders of the shoulder garment, stones of remembrance for the sons of Yisrael, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And he made the breastplate a work of skilled workmen, like the work of the shoulder garment, of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and of fine woven linen. It was square. They made the breastplate double, its length a zereth, and its width a zereth doubled. And they filled it with 4 rows of stones. A row of ruby, a topaz, and an emerald was the first row. And the second row a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row a beryl, a shoham, and a jasper, placed in the plated work of gold in their mountings. Did you have any pictures of this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go take a look at this, because describing this and trying to figure out exactly what it is they're making is this right here. And so as we are looking at what is being embroidered, what we have is a rock, essentially a emerald, or not an emerald, but it's like a special stone, and every one of them relate to a tribe of Yisrael. And so as we are describing this and the different stones that are on this is what we are looking at. Okay, so let's continue on. Thank you, Eli. I appreciate the pictures. Okay, now here we are. What is that, 11, guys?
11 or
13.
12, I think.
Let's start right here. And I'll start with 10, guys, and I actually start with 10 right here. And they filled it with 4 rows of stones. A row of ruby, a topaz, and an emerald was the first row. So as the very first row, guys, we're talking ruby, topaz, emerald. The second row, turquoise, sapphire, and a diamond. Third row, jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row, a beryl, a shoham, and a jasper. And so those are the stones that are for the tribes of Yisrael. And the stones were according to the names of the sons of Yisrael, 12 according to their names, engraved like a signet, each one with his own name according to the 12 tribes. And they made braided chains of corded work for the breastplate at the end of clean gold. And they made 2 mountings of gold and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And they put the 2 cords of gold and the 2 rings on the end of the breastplate. And the 2 ends of the cords they fastened in the 2 mountings, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the shoulder garment in the front. All right, what do we got?
So Irma says, well, wait, is that where birthstones came from? Is it like a mockery from the world?
I don't know. I don't know about births. I don't even know it. I think I think my mom used to say I was like is there such a thing as a sweet pea? That's not it, is it?
No, mine.
I can't really know. There's that. I can't remember what she used to say. That my stone. I don't even remember what that was. There was
I know for July is a ruby.
a ruby. I don't remember what I was. What about April?
But I don't know. I want to say it's either
Why do we even have this
a
stuff?
diamond or something else.
Yeah,
I
I don't-
can't remember. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know any of
But
that.
yeah,
right
Sister
there.
Barb, exactly. Birthstones are of pagan origin.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's continue on. And the 2 ends of the 2 cords they fastened in the 2 mountings, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the shoulder garment in the front. And they made 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate on the edge of it, which was on the inward side of the shoulder garment. And they made 2 gold rings, and put them on the 2 shoulder pieces underneath the shoulder garment on the front of it, close to its seam above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment. And they bound the breastplate by means of its rings to the rings of the shoulder garment with a blue cord, so that it could be above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, and that the breastplate would not come loose from the shoulder garment, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. Now, do you guys think this, let's just talk about it real quick. You guys think this was something easy to walk around in, or do you think this was, let's go back to the picture real quick. You guys think this was like heavy or do you think this was light? There's a couple different pictures in here, and so we have. What do you guys think of this weight? Like 10 pounds, maybe?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's
You think you had a backache at the end of the day if you wore this around all day?
I don't know. There's a lot of little rocks on there, a lot of golden rocks on there.
There's a lot of stuff, but I think it looks light enough. I don't think it's going to mess with this guy's back.
Well, that's the correct interpretation of how it actually was.
I think it's a correct interpretation of how it was. And there's the gold pieces that we're talking about on
I think
that.
more his shoulders than his back would hurt.
You think shoulders? Because
Yeah,
it is
shoulders.
connected. What we're looking at here is we're looking at the gold chains.
But I mean, after a certain amount of time, he'd just be used to it and it wouldn't weigh that much to him anymore.
I don't know if you ever get used to that. Your back will cry out the blues when your back hurts. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at. So shoulders, they have the gold chain, what we read. Yeah, maybe linen helped that it didn't feel so heavy. All right, let's roll back to the scriptures and let's take a look at that. Okay, 22. And he made the robe of the shoulder garment of woven work, olive blue, and the opening of the robe was in the middle, like the opening in scaled armor, with a woven binding all around the opening so that it would not tear. And they made on the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet and twine. Okay, we get a lot of pomegranates, right? In Yah's stuff. I would think if there was possibly one of his favorite fruits, I would say maybe possibly pomegranates might be it, because there's a lot of stuff that he decors with pomegranates in this, as well as you can always tell what colors he likes based upon what's there. Okay, 24. And they made on the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet twine. And they made bales of clean gold and put the bales between the pomegranates on the hem of the robe all around between the pomegranates. Do we have one of the pomegranates? Let's take a look at the quick pomegranates and see if we have pictures of this. If we, it doesn't have any pomegranates on it.
Jeremy says they were also used to walking hundreds of miles and were probably pretty
Those are the
fit.
pomegranates that
I think these are the bells. I think what they're.
Those are the bells.
I think those look like bells, and possibly.
Pomegranates might be in between those.
Yeah, I don't know where the pomegranates are.
Are those red things right there?
That possibly might be it. I don't know.
Or maybe when it's just like twine, something like the design that goes down here.
I don't know. Pomegranates is actually a fruit.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. Let's go back. So we got at least something to observe here and look at. Okay. 26. A bell and a pomegranate all around the hem of the robe for the service of Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And they made the long shirt of fine linen, the work of a weaver, for Aaron and his sons. And a turban of fine linen, and the turban ornaments of fine linen, and short trousers of fine woven linen. And a girdle of fine woven linen with blue and purple and scarlet, the work of an embroider, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. Okay, so we're dealing with the entire wardrobe here. And the entire wardrobe, this Yah is like the master of engineering. He's the master of design. He is absolutely the master of putting together the stuff that he really likes and putting his people in what it appears that Yah really likes as far as these colors go. Do we have anything?
Just what I said, and then you it said, Jeremy said they were also used to walking hundreds of miles and were probably pretty fit and could wear them easily.
Yeah.
And then Irma says they were built different back then, strong people with good clean food.
Probably. That's probably both true on those points. Okay, good points, guys. Okay, 31. 30. And they made the plate of the Kodesh sign of dedication of clean gold and wrote on it an inscription like the engraving of a signet, Kodesha to Yahuwah. And they put on it a blue cord to fasten it above on the turban as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. How far is this going?
Like 240 something.
All right, so we're heading now. Guys, we're going to head over to another translation of this. This is called the Targums, which is, we're kind of ending the books of Exodus. And I don't know if, is there a Targums of Leviticus? They're the same authors?
There is.
So I don't know what we're going to do after we get through this particular. I haven't figured it out yet, but we might do another Targums. I don't know. We might go again, compare it to the book of Josephus a little bit, and before everybody throws out all these warnings of Josephus being a Pharisee, so was Brother Shaul. Rabbi Shaul was also a Pharisee. So if we're throwing out warnings, we might as well throw out warnings to anybody that was in on this. Okay, so here, let's continue on right here. Okay, now we're back to this, and this is the Targums of Yahuwah. 39:1. And of hyacinth and purple and crimson, they made the vestments of ministration to minister in the sanctuary. And they made the set-apart vestments of Aaron the priest, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And he made the ephod. I'm reading comments here. They worked as slaves prior, so they had to be in good shape. Yeah, probably. And he made the ephod of gold, hyacinth and purple, and fine linen twined. And they beat out the plates of gold and cut them into threads to inwork with the hyacinth and the purple and the crimson and the fine linen, the work of the artificer. Shoulder pieces made they for it, conjoined. That sounded wild, but I guess shoulder pieces made they for it, conjoined. Upon its two sides were they conjoined. And its ordered band that was upon it was of the same. It was according to the work of gold, hyacinth, and purple, and crimson, and fine linen twined, even as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And they wrought the jewelry of onyx, enchased, set, inwrought, graved with graven writing, setting forth the names of the sons of Yashrael. All right, what do you guys make of this? What is it graved with graven writing? Is that
Maybe it's a carved, maybe it's like
I don't know. I guess when you grave something, I guess it's called graven. I don't know if it's so much as what this is saying is like they don't think it's right that they were named in it or something, or graved with graven writing. I guess if you, I don't know. I guess if you write something.
Engraved writing on mine.
Engraved writing? Yeah, so I don't know so much that's different. Okay, 39:7. And he set them on the shoulders of the ephod as stones of memorial for the sons of Yashrael, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And he made the breastplate, the work of the artificer, according to the work of the ephod, of gold, hyacinth, and purple, and crimson, and fine linen twined. 4 square was it, doubled. They made the breastplate a span's length and a span's breadth. A palmet's length and a palmet's breadth is what the other translation says. And they filled it with 4 rows of precious gems, margaline, I guess is how they say that, margolian, according to the 4 corners of the world. Okay, that's different than what we got. The first row, carnelian, topaz, and carbuncle. Row 1, and upon them were engraven and expressed the names of 3 tribes, Reuben, Shimeon, and Levi. Okay, now before I go into this, I think it's very interesting that they talk about corresponding with the 4 corners of the world. I've always found that very fascinating when they spin us this yarn that we're a bunch of monkeys living on a spinning water ball. Where do you find 4 corners on a spinning water ball? Where do you find a corner on a globe? I don't know so much as you ever would. And I do not believe these guys back there ever thought that we were monkeys flying on a spinning water ball. None of that makes any sense. In fact, Scriptures very much clearly tells us we're in a fixed environment. There's a firmament above us. There's nowhere in Scriptures anywhere that says we're wobbling, spinning, going around, or anything's going around us. Very different, especially when you read the book of Enoch. In the entire NASA and the entire world's space programs become completely fictional when you read the works of Enoch. And you don't have to sit there and do like a whole bunch of mathematics and take pi into this and put a whole bunch of stuff and say, this is why the world is spinning. I took that from Cade. Cade actually gave me that joke the other day. Because I don't believe it is. And so we have so many different things. And so when we have all of these people that are telling us that this thing is spinning and people can't get over the whole that we've been deceived, but when people actually start waking up and you realize that the spinning earth is only one small deception of thousands and thousands, right? You don't see things on television programming without people lying to you, right? That's why it's called programming and why I encourage everybody to get away from that TV and stop messing your minds up with that stuff. Okay, 39:11 says this. And the name of the second row, Smaragd, and Sapphire, and Chalcedony, and upon was inscribed and set forth the names of the 3 tribes, Yehuda, Dan, Naphtali. Okay, now let's go what he said up there. The very first one was Reuben, Shimeon, and Levi. What are we talking about when we're talking those first 3 names?
Those are the first 3 firstborn.
Yeah, and so the next one, what do we have? You have Yehuda, Dan, and Naphtali.
That's the next.
Okay, so what do we make of their? Because we don't actually get this in there, right? We don't get in regular scriptures that whose these are, but when you actually figure them out, go back to the pictures real quick. Every one of these stones that were on these guys is of the birth orders of the sons of Jacob, right? In their order that is there, right? And so you have from the very beginning all the way to the very end that this garment that they're wearing is very, very it's very important, right? The details on this and how our Creator wants His priest to represent His people is very, very clear. All right, so let's go back to that. And so I guess the point on that was all of these stones that are on their chest are in order. And so all this stuff matters to our Creator. Okay, 39:13 13. And the name of the fourth row, chrysolite and onyx and jasper, and upon them scribed and set forth the names of 3 tribes, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin, enchased and set in gold in their fillings. And the gems were according to the names of the sons of Yashrael, 12 according to their names, their writing engraven, inscribed and set forth as the engraving of a ring, each man's gem according to his name in the 12 tribes. So there's some stuff we can glean and we can get from this that if you didn't know what the past was like you wouldn't know, are you able to engrave on a ring back in the days? And obviously it sounds like these guys were able to do such a thing, and we only know what our worlds are, and that you would have to have some sort of device to actually make this happen, and we would use a device to engrave, but obviously these guys were able to do engraving well enough that they didn't need any devices, and they were smart enough to make it happen. Okay, 39:15. And they made upon the breastplate wreathen chains and twined work of pure gold. And they made 2 sockets of gold and 2 golden rings, and set the 2 rings on the 2 sides of the breastplate. And they put the 2 entwinements of gold within the 2 rings upon the 2 sides of the breastplate. And the 2 chains that were arranged on the 2 sides they fastened upon 2 sockets, and set them on the shoulders of the ephod towards its front. And they made 2 golden rings, and set them upon the 2 sides of the breastplate upon its edge, and that was on the border of the ephod inward. And they made 2 golden rings, and arranged them upon the 2 shoulders of the ephod below toward its front, and over the place of conjoinment above the band of the ephod. And fitted the breastplate by its rings to the rings of the ephod by a ribbon of hyacinth, that it might adhere to the band of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loosened from being upon the ephod, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. Okay, 22. And he made the mantle robe, a work of the weaver of fine thread of hyacinth. And the aperture of the upper robes was double in the midst, like the opening of a piece of armor, with a border around its edge, that it might not be torn. Okay, let's take a picture of that real quick. And an aperture of the upper robe was double in the midst. All right, let's go take a look at this aperture. All right, so what are we looking at here? Okay, do you read that? Where's our aperture? Read that, what I just read, please. Guys, can you please pay
22, I
attention?
think,
22?
is what-
Come on,
And he
kid.
made the robe of sugar arms of one blue, and the opening of the robe was in the middle. Like the
Okay, I don't
opening
see an opening of the
like
robe
the opening
here.
in scaled armor.
I don't see any opening of the robe here. I don't know what they're actually talking about. Maybe it's underneath of the outside thing. I think there might be like a V thing underneath of his thing, is what we're talking
Like an
about.
actual robe or like
Yeah, I think this is the outer robe, and what they're talking about, where it's like armor or where something of the sort. Yeah, it's underneath. Okay, so thanks, Sister Barb. Okay, let's continue into this. Okay. No, now we got to go find it in. And here it is. So, Eli, take us there, please.
It's loading, so.
All right,
So,
sorry, guys.
Jeff said carbuncle.
Yeah.
That is a deep red carbonche cut. I don't know. Which is an iron aluminum garnet. And
Huh.
the term carbuncle can also refer to any red gemstone.
That's cool.
Also says a diamond can be used to engrave other stones.
Yeah, I remember that. And diamond is pretty hard. I think the diamonds that they sell us are pretty much useless, but I mean, there are things like that you would use them for, but I think nowadays there's even harder metals than that they use. But the whole diamond scam is that. It's just another hoax where they're getting everybody to they're useless.
And
Okay.
one thing that Sister Barb says is stones that are pure give off vibrational energy, just like linen does.
Oh, cool. I did not know that. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Sister Barb. Doesn't use diamonds. It's not pure. Yahoo doesn't use diamonds. It isn't pure. Huh. Wild. Okay, 39, 23. And the aperture of the upper robe was double in the midst, like the opening of a piece of armor, with a border round about its edges that it might not be torn. And they made upon the bottom of the upper robe pomegranates of hyacinth and purple and crimson and fine linen and twine. And that point we can't find because we don't know what the pomegranates were. It could be like a piece of a pomegranate, maybe. But I have yet to find something that matches what Scripture says here with what it's looking at. Okay, 25. And they make golden bells and set the bells among the pomegranates up on the border of the mantle robe round about the pomegranates. Okay, so the golden bells and set the bells among the pomegranates. Okay, let's go look real quick and see if we can find one more picture. Sorry, guys. I'm just really trying to get something that matches this. Okay, so it says it's down by the bells. Oh, there it is right there in this
think it's
picture.
just the
Yeah,
embroidery
this one
of
has-
the-
No, this one hasn't. This one hasn't. This one's got the pomegranates. This is what we're
Those
looking for.
blue, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's okay. So that might give us a better idea of what that is looking at. We've got the bells and the pomegranates. Let's see if anything else has those. Maybe those are the pomegranates. So,
yeah, I
okay.
can see 'em in between
All right.
here.
So, yeah. Okay. So that's not these things like right up here, like right here, guys, but the right next to the bells. Then we have right there, I think that's the pomegranates between that. Let's look at the last picture and see if they have anything. Ah, there it is right there. Okay. Yeah, we just didn't know what we were looking for. All right, let's head back. And let's see, 39, 25, 26. A bell and a pomegranate, all of them 70 up on the bottom of the upper robe, round about to minister in, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe.
We don't get a number in the regular scriptures.
Yeah, we don't have that in the regular. What does your 39, 70, 26 say?
A
What is
bell
it?
and a pomegranate, all around the hem of the robe, the service as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe.
Okay, so that tells us something we do not have in regular scriptures. That's an interesting number, isn't it? Okay, 39, 27. And they made the tunics of fine linen, the work of a weaver, for Aaron and for his sons. And the tiara of fine linen, and the mistress of beauty of fine linen, and the drawers of fine linen twined. All right, what does your 39, 28 say, Kate?
A turban of fine linen, a turban of ornaments of fine linen, and short trousers of fine woven linen.
Okay, so this one brings in like a mistress of beauty of fine linen. Interesting word. Okay, 39, 29. And the girdle of fine linen twined in hyacinth and purple and crimson, the work of an embroiderer as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And they made the plate of the crown of holiness of pure gold, and wrote upon it, inscribed, engraven, and set forth, Kodesh to Yahuwah. And they set upon it twined ribbon of hyacinth, to put it upon the tiara above the forehead, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. Okay. All right, now we're heading back to Yah Scriptures, guys, and we will finish this up.
Sister Barb says there's an entire teaching on the bells of the priestly garments. It is said to clear the air of evil when sounding and shaking.
Huh. Yeah, we always heard that the bells were on these the priests. I'm sure there's multiple reasons, but one of them was in case they messed up in the temple and they were ended up killed, and the bells stopped going, at which point they would drag the priest out of there to if something had happened to that piece. Okay, 31 I think is where we're at here. And they put on it a blue cord to fasten above the turban as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And all the work of the Mishkan of the tent of appointment was completed. And the children of Israel did according to all that Yahuwah had commanded Moshe, so they did. And they brought the Mishkan to Moshe, the tent and all its furnishings, its hooks, its boards, its bars, and its column, and its sockets, and the covering of ram skins dyed red, and the covering of fine leather, and the veil of the covering, the ark of the witness with its poles, and the lid of atonement, the table and all its utensils, and showbread, the cling lampstand with its lamps, the lamps to be put in order, and all its utensils, and oil for light, and the altar of gold, and the anointing oil, and the sweet incense, and the covering for the tent door, the bronze altar and its bronze grating, its poles and all its utensils, the basin with its stand, the screens of the courtyard, its columns and its sockets, the covering for the courtyard gate, its cords and its pegs, and all the utensils for the service of the Mishkan for the tent of appointment, the woven garments to do service in the Kodesh place, the Kodesh garments for Aaron the Kohen and his son's garments to serve as Kohen, according to all that Yahuwah commanded Moshe. So the children of Israel did all the work. And Moshe looked over all the work and saw that it did as Yahuwah had commanded. They did as Yahuwah commanded. So they had done, and Moshe barak them. Okay, real quick. How long do you think this took right here? And it says in, let's see, where is it? Moshe, it says Moshe had them bring it to him. Do you think he was, when it was all done, that he just stood there and they brought the stuff singly to him? Do you think he was out amongst the people? Do you think he was like observing it? Because this is stuff that's going to take a while, right?
Yeah, I think
women are going to be sewing.
I think it's about a year.
I think women are going to be sewing the stuff for Aaron and his kids. I maybe a dude sewing it. I don't know. But that's my thoughts on this whole thing. So what do you guys think of this particular part? All of this stuff, the lampstands, all this, where you took months?
I think it took a year. I think.
You think it took a year for all this stuff?
I remember somewhere. I don't remember exactly where, but I remember talking about like them starting this in the second year, and at some point they were in the third year. So I think it was like almost a year or something like that.
Okay, well, we'll see if it says anything in the Targums, and then we will finish up. Okay, 39, 20, 32. And all the work of the tabernacle of ordinance was completed, and the sons of Yashrael did as Yahuwah commanded Moshe, so they did. And they brought the tabernacle to Moshe at his house of instruction, and it says Beth Midrash, where sat Moshe and his sons, where he gave direction to them concerning the order of the priesthood. And there, and Aaron sat at the elders of Yashrael, and they brought to him the tabernacle and all its vessels, its taches, its boards, its bars, its pillars, and its bases. All right, this is the kind of the reasons that we do read through the Targums, is that we get some interesting stuff here. I mean, we had this discussion, like, where do you think that they brought this to him? Did they actually bring it to him? And according to this version of it, they literally brought this stuff to him, right?
They
They're like,
probably had to inspect it all, make sure they were doing it right.
yeah, and so it's interesting because 3933, and guys, my roof is getting real noisy. There's nothing we can do. It sounds like the drummers are going at it. Maybe one day we'll get something that doesn't do this, but for now, I'm sorry you have to bear with us on this. But this gives us a little bit more stuff right here, right? Because it says that Moshe and his sons, where he was giving direction, talking about the order of the priesthood. So it sounds like he was having a big meeting when all these guys had it done, and then they started coming and showing him the stuff. I don't know. Only speculation. 3934. And the covering of reddened ram's skins, and the covering of purple skins, and the veil that was to be spread, and the ark of the testimony, its staves, and the mercy seat, and the cherubah produced of beaten work of the same, the one here and the other there, and the table and all its vessels, and the bread of faces. Okay, we don't have anything that says bread of faces. What is 3936 saying yours, Cade?
The tail and all its utensils and the showbread.
The bread of faces they call, or the bread of faces is what they call the showbread. That's interesting. We've never heard that before. Okay, let's continue on. 3937. And the candelabrum and its lamps, the lamps of order, which were ordained to correspond the 7 stars that rule in their prescribed places in the firmament by day and night, and the oil for the lights, and the golden altar, and the consecration oil, and the sweet incense, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle, and the brazen altars, and the brazen and its brazen gates, and its staves, and all its utensils, and the laver, and its base, the curtain, work of the court, its pillars, and the bases of the veil of the gate of the court, its cords and pins, and all the vessels for the service of the tabernacle, even the tabernacle of ordinance, and the vestments of ministration for ministering in the sanctuary, the set-apart vestments of Aaron the priest, and the vestments of his sons to minister, according to all that Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. So the sons of Yashrael made all the service. And Moshe surveyed all the service, and behold, they had made it as Yahuwah had commanded, so they made it. And Moshe blessed them and said, may the presence of Yahuwah dwell within the work of your hands. Okay, what does 3943 say on yours?
There's no 43.
You don't have 43? What were we on?
Oh, no, there it is. Okay. And Moshe looked over all the work and saw that they did it as Yahuwah had commanded, so they had done it. Moshe brought them.
Okay, so yeah, so there's a little difference in that. May the presence of Yahuwah dwell within the work of your hands. That's an interesting thing he says there. All right, guys. Well, I think that is it. Mystical, is there anything else in chat discussed?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So everybody, we thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with us on this Shabbat day, for being a part of our family. Our dogs always go crazy at the end of this. Nothing we can do. We thank you for hanging with us in these distractions. We thank you for hanging with us. And we love you all. And we, I guess we will see you next week. Jade, will you bless our people, please?
Yahuwah bless you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yahuwah lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Yashrael, and I will bless them.
Okay. Happy Shavuot, everybody. We love you.
Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down.
right, beautiful family. We love you guys very, very much. We thank you guys for being a part of this family. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine upon you. May Messiah Yahushua always be a part of your life. And may we all high five each other in the kingdom to come as we've been in obedience to the Creator and to his Son. Thank you guys very much. We love you.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.